So under the mournful sound of the bagpipes, we must also hear something else. Call to do better, to do more, to keep you safe, to keep our communities safer, for us to step up, build trust and respect, and heal the breach we now see in so many communities. To recognize that the promise of equal and impartial justice remains a promise, but not always a reality for you or others, particularly in low-income communities. Too many communities, black and brown, too many families are grieving unnecessary losses of their sons, their daughters, their fathers, their brothers. I want to acknowledge the FOP, as was mentioned earlier, for sincerely trying to reach an agreement on meaningful reforms, congressional reform, and the negotiations over the George Floyd and Policing Act. But here's the part. A lot of the help has to come to police departments. They need help to do better. I want to thank you for being a constructive player in this process. We haven't gotten there yet, but we must get there. Look, there's too much pain. There's too much loss. There's too much at stake for the safety and for the safety of those you serve. It's a hard time to be a police officer in America. So I want to make sure you have the tools to be the partners and the protectors your communities need. That when you look at what your communities need and what you're being asked to do, there are going to be more resources, not fewer resources to help you do your job. That's why I propose we invest again in community policing. We know works. One thing that protects cops is another cop. And the training you and the community have requested, the community-based programs and interventions that can stop violence before it starts, provide specific guidance explaining that communities can and should use funds from the American Rescue Plan, $350 billion in aid to cities, states, counties, tribes, to hire and retain officers. Many cities from Albuquerque to St. Paul are doing just that. And I propose an additional $300 million in my budget to support community policing across the country. It's hard when you don't know the community. And the most important way to get to know them has more police. We're also investing in community violence intervention programs, which have a proven track record of reducing violence by up to 60% in cities across the nation. At the same time, we have to stop asking law enforcement officers to do every single job under the sun. I'm committed to investing in mental health services, mental health professionals who can respond to mental health crises alongside you. You shouldn't be the one having to talk someone off the edge of the roof. You should have professional help with you. Support our law enforcement officers requires that we invest in systems that provide adequate health care, counseling, drug treatment prevention, housing, education, and other social services in the community so there is not the discord. We need to work together to confront the epidemic of gun violence. Your brothers and sisters have told me over the years sometimes you feel like you're outgunned. Right now, the Justice Department, under the leadership of Attorney General Garland, is working with state and local law enforcement across the country to keep guns out of the hands of dangerous individuals. They now have zero tolerance for gun dealers who willfully violate the law, putting firearms in the hands of people who are a danger to the community and you. I also want to make it easier for states to adopt red flag laws, laws that allow family members or law enforcement to petition a court order to temporarily remove firearms from people who are in crisis, representing a danger to themselves and to others. By the way, more people die of gunshot wounds in America as a consequence of suicide than any other reason. I've called on Congress to reauthorize the Violence Against Women Act and to close the domestic violence loophole to keep guns out of the hands of abusers. 40% of all calls that result in an officer's death were domestic violence related. 40%. These steps will protect you, protect the people you serve. And finally and tragically, in the past 2 years, COVID-19 has caused more deaths in the line of duty than all the other causes combined. Many of those lost their lives keeping our society safe, serving on the front lines in those dark early days of the pandemic. But now, let us prevent the preventable tragedies. The last time I stood here was to take the oath of office as your president. I said that day we have much to repair, much to restore, much to heal, much to build, much to gain. It remains true. I believe with all my heart there's nothing you're unable to do if we equip you, that we can unite this nation and fight our common foes: anger, resentment, hatred, extremism, racism, lawlessness, violence, disease, joblessness, hopelessness. We have never, ever failed in America when we've acted together. So let's act together to support you in the service of the nation we love. In closing, let me say that I know there are no words, no memorials that can fill that void, that black hole in your chest so many of you feel. But I promise you, the day will come when the memory of your loved one will bring a smile to your lips before it brings a tear to your eye. That's when you know you're going to make it. That's when you know. That will happen. But my prayer for you is that that day will come sooner than later. There's a headstone in a cemetery in Ireland that reads, "Death leaves a heartache no one can heal. Love leaves a memory that no one can steal." They're with you. They're in your heart. They're part of you. May the souls of those you love and those with whom you serve rest in peace and rise in glory. In the meantime, you're in our prayers. May God bless you, and may God protect all those who serve us in uniform. Thank you.